Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to talk about a very humorous story, The Snake and the Mirror. Now, do you all like looking at the mirror? Yes, you like to look at the mirror. Now, this is a humorous story about a doctor, a snake, and the mirror. Now, let's see what exactly happened in this particular story. Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? A full blooded cobra. All of us fell silent. The question came from the homeopath. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with his tale. Now, children, have you ever thought of a cobra coming? And cobra is a very poisonous snake. Have you ever thought of a cobra coming and coiling itself around your hand or leg? Oh my God, we just can't imagine, right? So here, a homeopathy doctor is discussing about snakes, and he is telling how he had an encounter with a snake. Let us see what happens in the future part of the story. It was a hot summer night, about 10 o'clock. Now, when is this incident happening? It was around 10 o'clock in the night. It was a summer night. I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to my room. Now, the doctor goes to a restaurant, eats his dinner, and comes back to his room. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. The sound was a familiar one. One could say that rats and I shared the same room. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. Now, this story is happening many years back when there was no electricity, and this doctor, he had his food in a restaurant, comes home, and he was living in a small room, and he says that rats and he had the same room to stay, and he could hear the noise of the rats. And he takes out the box of matches and lights a kerosene lamp. The house was not electrified. It was a small rented room. Now the house didn't have any facility of electricity because it was a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. Now he had just started practicing his medicine and his earnings was very little. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase, along with some shirts and dhotis. I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. Now, this doctor had started his career only, so he had only 60 rupees in his suitcase and some shirts and dhotis, and he had one single black coat which he was wearing at that time. I took off my black coat, white shirt, and not so white vest and hung them up. Now, he removes his coat, shirt, and his vest. Vest means his banyan, and hangs it on the wall. I opened the two windows in the room. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open yard. It had a tiled roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beam over the wall. There was no ceiling. Now see, can you see how his room, top of his room looked like? The place what is shown in this picture is called as a gable, upper part of the wall below a sloping roof. Okay. Now this is how the upper part of his room looked like. There was a regular traffic of rats to and from the beam. I made my bed and pulled it close to the wall. I lay down, but I could not sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air, but the wind god seemed to have taken time off. Now he could hear lot of noise on the roof. It was a noise of the rats. Then he just makes his bed and sleeps. But he couldn't sleep because it was quite hot inside. So now what the narrator is planning to do, he goes out to see that there is some air which he can get fresh air. But he felt that even the wind god had gone for rest because there was no wind around. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. Now he goes back to the room and sits on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror. Now, since he was not getting sleep, he wanted to read the book. So he goes there to the table. On the table there was a lamp and a mirror, and he opens a book by name Materia Medica. One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near one. I took a look. In those days I was a great admirer of beauty, and I believed in making myself look handsome. I was unmarried and I was a doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. Again I heard that sound from above. Now the doctor is planning to read a book, so he goes near the table. On the table there was a mirror. Near the mirror there was a lamp. And whenever somebody looks into the mirror, you feel like looking at your face again. So he also was an admirer of beauty. He wanted to look beautiful and handsome like other young girls. So what he goes, and he was unmarried also, a doctor also. So he goes in front of the mirror, he takes up a comb and he just combs his hair and makes his hair look neat and straight. Again when he is doing this, he hears a sound from above. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. I made an important decision. I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. I was after all a bachelor and a doctor. Now he again looks at his face in the mirror. Then he decides, yes, I'm going to shave my beard daily and look more handsome because I'm a bachelor. Bachelor meaning he's not married, and moreover a doctor. I looked into the mirror and smiled. It was an attractive smile. I made another earth-shaking decision. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face to look more handsome. I was after all a bachelor and a doctor too on top of it. Now, when he is looking at the mirror, he takes another decision with it. What I am going to do? I am not only going to look into the mirror, but I'll always keep an attractive smile on my face, and that will make me look more handsome. So, he's a doctor, a bachelor, so he should be looking very handsome and nice. Again came that noise from above. Again he hears the same noise. I got up, paced up and down the room. Then another lovely thought struck me. Now he's just walking around the room, he's unable to sleep. Suddenly another thought comes to him. I would marry. So he's thinking, he's a bachelor, he's unmarried, no? So he's thinking of getting married also. I would get married to a woman doctor who has plenty of money and a good medical practice. She had to be fat for a valid reason. If I made some silly mistake and needed to run away, she should not be able to run after me and catch me. What a crazy fellow, he has no children. Now he wants to marry. And what is his thoughts on marriage? He will be marrying a doctor and who has a good medical practice. Not only that, the girl whom he marries should be fat. What is the reason to be fat? Because if he made some mistake and he runs away, she should not be able to catch him, because she should not be able to run behind him. Such a crazy boy. With such thoughts in my mind, I resumed my seat in the chair in front of the table. There were no more sounds from above. Suddenly there came a dull thud, as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. Surely nothing to worry about. Now, with all these thoughts, he just relaxes on the seat in front of the table. And now there was no sounds heard from above. But suddenly he hears a sound of something falling from the top, as if a rubber tube had fallen down. But surely nothing to worry about it. Even so, I thought I would turn around and take a look. No sooner had I turned than a fat snake wriggled over the back of the chair and landed on my shoulder. The snake's landing on me and my turning were simultaneous. Now he just heard a thud. He wanted to turn back and see what was happening. No longer that he turned back, he saw a snake on his shoulder. A snake sitting on the shoulder of the doctor. The snake sitting on the shoulder, and he turning towards the snake became simultaneous, utter stretch. I didn't jump, I didn't tremble, I didn't cry out. There was no time to do any such thing. The snake slithered along my shoulder and coiled around my left arm above the elbow. The hood was spread out and its head was hardly 3 or 4 inches from my face. It was not be correct to say merely that I sat there holding my breath. I was turned to stone, but my mind was very active. The door opened into the darkness. The room was surrounded by darkness. In the light of the lamp, I sat there like a stone image in the flesh. This all happened within a minute. The doctor didn't utter a word. He didn't jump. He didn't shiver. He didn't cry. By then, what the snake did, the snake coiled on the. It slowly moved from the shoulder, coiled around his left arm, and it stood there. The snake's face and the narrator's face were just 4 inches away. The narrator has turned into a stone. Now let me stop this video at this point. We'll continue the lesson in the next video. Okay, kids?